It's not all good news for Georgia though, because recently they had some bad news come out and it could hurt them significantly in this game. There's no way you can't act like this isn't a big deal, because this is a major blow to the Georgia team. Weirdly enough, we haven't talked about this team a lot this year, and the said team I'm referring to is Georgia. I think a large reason and part of that is because Georgia, they haven't had too much competition, and we know what to expect out of them. There's nothing new. I'm not going to go as too far as to saying they're the same exact team from last year and they're very similar, but it's the same principles. You got the same quarterback in Stetson Bennett, minus all the controversies. There's no controversy with a backup in JT Daniels. This is Stetson Bennett's team. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. You can be the judge of that. Y'all know how I feel about them. Outside of the quarterback position, it's still relatively the same Georgia team we're coming to know. You're always going to have good/great running backs, and you're always going to have a good or great defense. I'm saying that to say this. You might as well get used to it, because Georgia being a top 5 college football team and always being in the conversation of the college football playoff, it's going to be like that for many years to come. And the only reason Georgia doesn't have 2 national championships is because Tua Tagovailoa made the play of his life. But, and I have a big but, trust me, we're getting to the point in the season where we're only going to talk about the playoff contenders, and we're really, and I mean really, about to find out what you're made out of. With that being said, I think we all know what's about to go down this Saturday. Make no mistakes about it, I'm not a Georgia, I'm not a Tennessee fan, and I'm always excited for college football, but I am 20 times more excited this weekend. It's going to be amazing. Now that I sit back and think about it, is this the best SEC East matchup we've had in the past 20 to 25 years? You got to think about it. To me, I got Tennessee number 1 and Georgia number 2, but in the rankings, the college football poll, the playoff poll, they got Tennessee number 1 and Georgia 3. So however you want to chop it up, 1v2 matchup, 1v3, doesn't matter. It's going to be unreal. I was also telling one of my friends this might arguably be one of the best weekends in SEC football in general, because we also have another top 10 matchup that's getting overshadowed by this one. For those of you that don't know, Alabama is going to Baton Rouge in a night game for that top 10 matchup as well. But nobody's talking about it because everyone's talking about this Georgia and Tennessee game. If you're an SEC fan like myself, and I think many of you are, this is what we live for. Whoa. Hold on. It's not all good news for Georgia though, because recently they had some bad news come out and it could hurt them significantly in this game. There's no way you can't act like this isn't a big deal, because this is a major blow to the Georgia team. We're going to talk all about it in today's video. We're on the road to 300K, so if you like college football content, what are you doing? Consider subscribing and join the family. It really means a lot to us. It helps our community grow. We're building an awesome community. All right, Matt, blah, blah, blah. Shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. First thing is first, I got to react to this college football playoff rankings, because I got a ton of you at me on Twitter and you're wanting to hear my thoughts on it, so here you go. I've said it for over a week now. Tennessee is my number 1 team in the country, so I'm not shocked at this. They deserve to be number 1. It's not even close in my humble opinion. I don't like putting Ohio State at 2 for the simple fact they haven't proven anything against a real team. The Big Ten is easily the worst conference in the entire country. It's not even close, so I would have Georgia at 2, but that's not my biggest problem. My biggest problem is you got Clemson at 4 and Michigan at 5. I don't get that. You know why I don't get it? Because Clemson doesn't even have a quarterback. I don't care what anybody tells you. What have I preached to all of you on this channel? You can only go as far as your quarterback can take you. Now, yes, there is some rare exceptions like Georgia last year with Stetson Bennett, but this is the exception. They had 5 first-round picks on the defense. That's something more than likely in our lifetimes we'll never see again. To make a long story short, if Clemson and Michigan play today, I'm picking Michigan because they got the better quarterback. I also believe not just the quarterback, but Michigan has the better overall team. I've seen some people trying to make up the excuse that, oh, Michigan hasn't played anybody, and although I do agree, well, Clemson hasn't played anybody either, and they've looked worse. That's what gets to me the most. I don't understand how they put Clemson at 4. Wrapping up the top 10, I saw some other people talking about this. Oh, how is Bama ahead of TCU? TCU's undefeated. You want the long answer or the short answer? We got to talk about Georgia, so I'll give you the short answer. Nobody's going to pick today TCU to beat Alabama. That's your short answer. There's your short answer for you. I'm not getting into that debate. And the last thing I'm going to bring up, because if you're not in the top 10 or 11, you're basically irrelevant, is somehow, someway LSU sneaked into the top 10. Me, personally, I don't have a problem with it, because the SEC is the best conference in the world. One of LSU's losses is the kicker's fault against Florida State the first game of the year, and their only other loss is against the number 1 team in the country in Tennessee. At first glance, I was like many of y'all. When I saw LSU in the top 10, I was like, how are they in the top 10? But here's the thing. When I looked at the teams behind them, I was like, well, I would pick LSU to win those games. Does anybody think UCLA, Kansas State, Utah, Penn State, Illinois, North Carolina is better than LSU? No! I know it's exciting for Tennessee fans and everybody wants to talk about this and keep up with it, but I didn't even watch the show and I don't keep up with it too much, although yeah, I'm talking about it here because I know everything's going to play itself out. Michigan, Ohio State, the winner of that game is going to get in. Tennessee and Georgia, more than likely, the winner of that's going to get in. If Alabama wins out, they're going to get in. More than likely, just seems like this is going to happen. You're going to get 2 SEC teams in, and you're going to get the winner of Michigan, Ohio State, and also Clemson. 2 SEC teams do get in, and there's a possibility for 3, but I feel like there's no way the committee would do that. The real question mark is, okay, do we put an undefeated Clemson in or an undefeated TCU? We'll see how that goes. Me personally, y'all want my honest opinion? I think 3 out of the top 4 teams is Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia. And if you disagree with that statement, I'll offer you this. Would you bet money against Clemson or Michigan to beat Alabama tomorrow? No, you wouldn't. Don't even lie to yourself. You know dang well if Alabama played Michigan or Clemson tomorrow, you know deep down Alabama's going to win that game. You may not say it, but come on now. You know Alabama's a better team. That's enough about the rankings. We got to get on to the main topic, the main encore, the main reason you clicked onto this video. We got to talk about Georgia. You know Matt likes his fun facts, and earlier today somebody sent me this on Instagram, and I really liked it. Appreciate that, by the way. Tennessee is averaging a whopping 100 points per game, and Georgia's defense is only giving up about 10.5 or 11 if you round it up. Tennessee is averaging 350 passing yards per game, and they're also averaging, and nobody talks about this, 200 rushing yards per game. That's the X factor. I'll talk about that in just a second. Georgia's defense is only allowing 177 passing yards per game and about 85 rush yards. So just like I talked about in the Tennessee-Kentucky game, something's going to have to give. What did I say in the Kentucky game? Okay, either Kentucky's defense, they're going to stop Tennessee, or Tennessee's going to blow them out. No in-betweens. And I was right. I said Tennessee was going to beat them by 30, and everybody's like, yo, Matt, this is going to be a sleeper game. I'm like, no, it's not. Tennessee's offense, they remind me a lot of 2019 LSU. Whoa. Hold on. I know what all my Georgia fans are sitting there saying. Matt, oh, I know Tennessee's got a great offense. I don't need you to tell me that. And I get it. But here's where I feel like a lot of people don't quite understand how great Tennessee's offense is. If you don't listen to a single other thing I say in this video, please listen to this part. You will not, let me emphasize this, you will not stop Tennessee's offense. You can't. I'll take it a step farther. You can't even try to contain it. Don't want to take my word for it? Well, don't worry. I came prepared for this video. I got another fun fact for you. Alabama's defense, who I think is good, not great, but they're good, they've only allowed 15 touchdowns this season. Not too bad. 7 out of those 15 came against Tennessee. I want y'all to think about it. Half of the touchdowns that Bama defense allowed this year came in one game. Granted, yes, they didn't play great, but what did I say after that game? Sometimes you gotta tip your cap to the opponent and say, hey, they was better. Sometimes you gotta sit there and admit they were better that day. I'm gonna bring up 2 great examples because they're also 2 SEC teams. Do y'all remember 2019 LSU and 2020 Alabama? Those offenses, you couldn't stop them. Nobody stopped them the entire season. What did those 2 offenses have in common though? They had a good quarterback in Joe Burrow and Mac Jones. Although I think Joe Burrow is better than Mac Jones had a heck of a year. To go along with that, they both had outstanding running backs, one of those being Najee Harris, and I believe 2019 LSU had Clyde Edwards-Helaire Jr., right? I think that's who it was. I could be wrong on that. To go along with that, they also had outstanding wide receivers. LSU had Jamar Chase, and I'm drawing a blank. I can't think of the other guy's name. And Alabama, we know how that went. They had the Heisman Trophy winning wide receiver in Devontae Smith. Bama also had John Mechie and Jalen Waddle before Waddle went down with an injury. What was that other wide receiver for LSU? This is going to piss me off. Oh, yeah, it's Chase Jefferson. My fault. So you see what I'm saying? In that 2019 LSU team and 2020 Bama, very, very similar. Great running back play, great quarterback play, and 2 great wide receivers and sometimes 3. And well, I think you all know where I'm about to go with this. Look at Tennessee this year, 2022. Great quarterback play, check. Great running back play, check. Although a lot of people don't talk about Jalen Wright and Jabari Small, they've been doing an amazing job this season. Last but not least though, what about the wide receiver position? Check. They have one of the best wide receivers in the country who emerged out of nowhere in Jalen Hyatt. They also got the All-American Cedric Tillman who's coming back from an injury, and they also got Brew McCoy. Whether you choose to believe this or not, that's up to you, but it's a cold hard fact, so you might as well believe it. You're not going to stop Tennessee. You will not stop Tennessee. Just like 2019 LSU and 2020 Bama, you couldn't stop them. You was going into those games thinking, okay, We gotta score over 45 points to have a chance to win. Ladies and gentlemen, that is when you know you're in trouble. And that's why I said you can't even hope to contain them, because trying to quote-unquote contain them is holding them under 40. Whoa, hold on. I know what all my Georgia fans are saying. Yo, Matt, how are we in trouble? What's going on? What are you trying to say? Georgia's defense has surprised me this year. They've played great, and according to the analytics and stats, they played better than last year. Although I don't personally believe they're better than last year's defense, that's what the numbers say. Well, here's your problem. Number one, you aren't going to stop Tennessee regardless. But number two, your best player on defense, Nolan Smith, he's out for the season, and he's missing his game against Tennessee. Yeah, it goes without being said, you're going to be in a world of hurt this Saturday. Just because Nolan Smith is out for this game, just because your defense may struggle stopping Tennessee, it doesn't mean you're going to lose. It just means your offense, they got to be extremely productive. Oh man. Unfortunately, I have some bad news. Stetson DoorDash Bennett is still your quarterback. If you were to go in the dictionary right now, go find a dictionary in your house and look up the word mediocre, I think there may be a picture of Stetson DoorDash Bennett right beside it. Maybe there won't be, but I'm just going to guess there is. I'm not going to sit up here and ridicule DoorDash Bennett. I like the guy as a person. He's just not a good football player. And the funniest thing about this is Georgia fans, they all know this. They know he's not that great. They were the ones that was mad that he announced he's coming back for this season. Obviously, they're not going to say that, but they know that, and I don't expect them to bash their quarterback. They shouldn't. And let me make this clear, I'm not bashing DoorDash Bennett either. I'm just telling you the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts. I'm asking y'all a genuine question. Does any Georgia fan actually believe you can win a shootout with DoorDash Bennett as your starting quarterback? I mean, come on now, let's be logical with this. Nobody with a functional brain would say yes to that question. What makes Bennett look so good? When Georgia's defense is good and getting stops. If they're not getting stops, that's when Bennett looks bad. Remember against Alabama in those first two losses when he looked bad? Why was he throwing interceptions? Why did he look so bad? Because they was trailing in those games and he needed to make big time plays. The way to beat Georgia and upset them is to outscore them, getting a high scoring affair. That's what they don't want. That's how Tennessee's going to play. And like I said, I don't think Georgia has a chance of stopping them. And it's not me trying to disrespect Georgia's defense. I don't think anybody this year can stop them. The only reason Bennett has 2,000 passing yards and his numbers look good on paper is because he throws these dump offs to the running backs, and he'll throw a bubble screen here and there to Brock Bowers. He'll throw a 5-yard slant to Darnell Washington, and his playmakers make the plays, and that's a good thing. Bennett has worked for Georgia so much the past 2 years because he does what they need him to do. Get the ball to the playmakers and get out of the way. Don't force any turnovers. I simply just don't believe that's going to be good enough to beat Tennessee, and Bennett's going to have to make big time throws, and I don't believe he can do that. Also, like I said, one of the main focal points of this video, Georgia's defense, it doesn't help you so much that your best player on defense can't even play in this game. There's a lot more I could say. I may make another video tonight talking about this. I am very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But